Welcome to the Eric Carlson episode of PuckPod by B Sports. I'm Brian. I'm here with David and Christian. I am also back home, which is really nice. But Christian, how was your week?
It's a good week, man. Got to see you guys. Got to catch our first ever BD Sports rivalry game, whatever you want to call it, live. Marlies and Hershey Bears on Saturday. That was really fun. And then yeah, I had to a Leaf game after. I mean, outside of Saturday, I'm trying to think what the hell I did. Oh yeah, I went to another Marlies game too with
I
Dave.
forgot
We,
about
we were
that.
yeah, I know that was, it feels like it was forever ago. Like we were covering the game for school, like an assignment. That was also pretty cool to do. So I mean, yeah, another busy week, but some more fun going on than usual, I'd say.
Dave, what about
Uh,
you?
I mean, dude, me and Christian basically live like very, very similar lives. So
Yeah.
besides Christian, quite literally, like we had almost the exact same schedule, except for the fact that Christian ended up going to the Leaf game after the Marlies game, and me and Brian headed over to a bar to catch a bit of the game. Then we got some matcha ice cream that was pretty good. I want to thank Brian for that reco. Definitely, we're definitely gonna head back down there because there's a couple
Yeah.
spots that like we were kind of like looking around at. We were like, we should definitely come back and like try some of these spots. And probably go back down for that matcha ice cream because it was really good.
Yeah, I love that area. It's great. It makes you really miss being home and stuff like that.
But what
And
about the
I'm really
streetcar, bro?
I hate the streetcar. I hate the streetcar. Okay, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Marlies for a bit and Hershey Bears. Um, Rico or Coca-Cola Coliseum is great venue. I really enjoyed my time. The problem fundamentally with it, it's the same fundamental issue as TFC. It's such a hassle to get to Liberty Village or that area. It's great when you're there, but why is it not connected but with a subway or something? It's
It's
been
literally just a
literally
one streetcar. That's it.
yes, and it's such a hassle to the point where it makes me not wanna go,
I'll be honest,
which
like
sucks.
I didn't mind I don't mind the commute that bad. Like I don't know, the streetcar to me, I personally don't have too many problems with it. It's like what, a 20 minute ride, 25-minute ride? I don't know.
Yeah, it
Maybe I'm
could
just
just
immune to
yeah.
public transport now, Dave, because we've been doing it every day for like almost 2 months now. I feel like no amount of commute bothers me anymore.
I think I understand Brian's point and I understand your point. I think it could be a little bit more seamless. Like I don't think
Sure.
anything in the city is perfect. You know what I mean? I think it's fine. Like, it's a fine commute, but it's not great. Is a commute ever great? You know what I mean?
No,
Uh
but I think
yeah,
that
it could be
genuinely
better. I agree with you, Brian. It could be a lot better.
and let's also talk about the Coca-Cola Coca-Cola Coliseum, like Marlies. The Air Canada Centre or AC Scotiabank Arena has a really bad reputation for not having a great environment. I can confirm that everybody was cheering during the Marlies game. It was great, especially when I don't remember who scored, but we blew it. The Hershey Bears blew a 2-0 lead, and everybody was up for the second goal. So that was nice to see.
That's pretty cool.
All right,
Very like
let's move.
family oriented crowd, like
Yeah.
just like any type of person, like just tons of families, tons of kids, basically every age range, honestly, like just a really like inclusive crowd. Everyone was getting into it. Like even people that looked like maybe it was their first ever hockey game, they were loving it. So that was cool.
Yeah, some of them did. They had a little pass on, if you notice. Like they have like a lanyard that they give them, and it's like my
Okay.
first game, it says on the pass.
Ah,
And then noticed a few, okay, most of them were like children, granted, but also like I like that. Like we're able to distinguish if it's a child's like first game. Kind of makes
yeah.
you like, wow, like
I'm old.
how yeah, yeah, that too.
We should
All
also
right.
mention too, like the score of the game. Like so, the Marlies ended up losing. Like Brian said, Hershey went up 2-0. They were kind of dominating.
How did
Marlies
you
with a
know
late
that, Christian?
comeback. Well, I had to ask you guys because yeah, I had to bust my ass back on the streetcar to Union Station to get to the Leaf game, which I did get there like literally just before puck drop, just
That was gonna
before.
be my next question. Like, did you make it on
Yeah,
time?
right before puck drop, I was in my seat.
Awesome.
But yeah,
Awesome.
so the Hershey Bears ended up winning 3-2 in overtime. I don't know what the goal looked like. I have no idea. I don't know if Brian even told me who scored it.
It
He
was
Yeah.
did.
Garnett Rowe that scored.
Oh yeah, that's right. You said that. Yeah, yeah. That was that.
It
I'll,
was
I'll
just
talk. I'll talk about my Leaf experience when we do like Leafs at the end.
yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
You're gonna want to talk about that one because it was something else. Let's move into the next topic.
I don't even remember the goal. If I'm being completely, it was like it wasn't entertaining 3-on-3 though. I have to say, like
Okay.
they didn't play
Yeah.
they didn't play the lineup battle for too long. They when the game got open, it got open for them real quick. So
Good
Yes.
to hear.
Let's move into the next topic. Jarmo Kekalainen gets sacked by the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think that we kind of all saw this coming eventually. I don't think any of us are really big Jarmo Kekalainen fans, but yeah, he's done.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel like strongly one way or the other about Jarmo Kekalainen. Like, he's of all the GMs, he is one of them. He's a GM. He was a GM. Is a GM. May be a future GM. But I think you're right in terms of we all saw this coming. It's just a matter of how far in advance we saw it coming. I think for the most part, once the Babs stuff went down, it was tough to see him coming out of this season with a job, barring a crazy season from the Blue Jackets where they are in like a top three divisional spot at this point in the year, maybe take a really hard run at the playoffs. But that's obviously not what has transpired since the Babcock controversy, right? So it was a ticking time bomb. I almost wish they would have ripped the band-aid off at the beginning with the Babcock controversy. I think that gave them a tidy excuse to fire him then. But obviously they didn't. I think maybe ownership wanted to give him benefit of the doubt, see if he could undo some of his mistakes. And like I said, that's not really what happened here.
Dave, what's your take?
no, yeah, no, 100%. Listen, you mentioned could be a future GM. After everything that transpired uh at the beginning of the offseason with Mike Babcock, does another owner, like, can Yarmo be trusted again by another ownership group? Can Yarmo, and also I think like John Davidson took over, but I think John Davidson's writing's on the wall as well. Like that, John Davidson was the guy that, like, Yarmo was John Davidson's guy, right? So if I'm the owner, I forget the owner's name of the Jackets.
Me too.
If I'm that owner, am I also not pointing the finger at John Davidson as well? Like, he had to sign off on a lot of the decisions that Yarmo made. How can another owner trust either of those two guys? Because, like, that's a pretty brutal F up that they made at the beginning of the season, hiring Mike Babcock. And that's like, I have to say, it's like the tip of the iceberg for them. Like, I don't think everything was solely on that decision, because if Columbus had built a team that was like a perennial playoff team, maybe going a couple rounds deep, but then they had that happen to them, I think maybe you could chalk it up to like that was just the wrong decision at the wrong time type of thing. But that whole situation just came after years of ineptitude and, signing Johnny Gaudreau to a crazy long contract, and he doesn't want to be there anymore. And drafting Pierre-Luc Dubois, and within a couple of years, he doesn't want to play there anymore. Like, there's so many misfires under John Davidson and Jarmo Kekalainen's watch that it's too hard to ignore now. And it was so hard to ignore that they got rid of one of them, and they're probably going to get rid of the other guy by the end of the season, right?
Very
See, David,
interesting.
it's funny that you say though, like the owners. How can an owner trust Jarmo Kekalainen or even John Davidson in the future? I kind of think the reason they even got this far is because of that trust. I think, like I said, Yarmo got the benefit of the doubt because of all the things he did previously for the Blue Jackets, which we can get into a little bit afterwards. And then John Davidson, if you remember, he was there for a pretty decent while before, and then left for the Rangers, became the president of hockey operations there, and then he got sacked with the Rangers for it was one of those really weird things where I think the
Was
president and the GM didn't see eye to eye or something. And then, do
was
you
he
remember
not
what I'm
the
talking
was he
about?
not the guy fired because he spoke out against James Dolan? Was that not what it was?
Okay, I think it was something to that effect. There was some in organization agreement, disagreement going on,
Yep.
and Davidson and also Jeff Gordon got let go in that.
Yes,
So
yeah,
then
that was
he
the other name.
So then I think the owners of the Blue Jackets had so much trust and faith in Davidson for what he had done previously that they brought him back into the fold. And he's still there right now. I'm almost worried that they have too much trust in him, like you're saying, Dave, where they shouldn't have all this faith in Jarmo like they did, Davidson now. Something that me and Dave were talking about, like on the subway, basically all week was like Boone Jenner, does he go now? Is he on the trade block? And almost instantly we had Davidson come out and say Boone Jenner's not going anywhere. And a part of that is apparently because the owners are big fans of Boone Jenner. So maybe what would be best here for ownership is to separate themselves a little bit from the hockey side of things, like we almost always give advice to owners in the NHL and really all sports. Separate yourselves from the sport because that'll get you the best results. Doesn't look like that's going on here. I had wondered to myself, what was Yarmo's best move, or what was one of his worst moves in his Columbus tenure?
I I have a
What do you got?
list of moves
Okay.
that I was just gonna ask you
Because
about.
I'll be honest, I couldn't come up with worst because I think there was some contenders, but I couldn't nail down. Do you guys have one for worst?
I don't have one for worst, but I do have the
Okay.
best. I have two predictions for best. Well,
Okay.
not predictions, two answers for best. Number one, drafting Adam Fantilli.
It's a good one. It's a good
Number
one.
t- Number two,
Is that but
Sasha Panarin.
is that drafting or quite or having that player fall into your lap?
It works both ways
Yeah,
because
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, you do have to make the right move because like we've seen in previous drafts where the team doesn't take the player that falls into their lap.
Yeah, I
And yeah, it
guess.
can still come back to bite you. It could prove to be one of his last moves, but one of his best moves. And then the other one you mentioned there, Brian. Oh, what was it? I just want to make sure I
Sasha,
heard it right. Yeah,
Sasha Panarin.
that's probably the best player, like managing move that he made.
It might be
I had
the
Well,
already,
it
yeah,
might be
what's
the
up?
best. It might be the best player for player like
yeah,
swap
swap.
upgrade in the past decade.
I think
Genuinely.
you're right on
Dude,
that.
that trade alone caused the Chicago Blackhawks to like that ended their dynasty right there with that
Yeah,
move.
you're right. You're right.
And I think we're all a little
Uh,
bit happy to see Chicago take a bit of an ego hit.
oh yeah,
It's fine by me.
Dave. I think you know my answer for best move because we had
I
spoken about it.
you
Do you
had told
have
me.
something else?
You told
Yeah.
me. I completely forgot. I'm gonna
Okay. Okay.
my worst move will always be selecting Pierre-Luc Dubois with the third overall pick. That will always be my worst move. Just like the whole situation with PLD has just been a tire fire. Thank God for them that they were able to like recoup assets off of him and they shipped him out to LA to rot under the hot sun in California because man, is that guy the biggest locker room cancer there is. Okay, the guy that they got back for him in Patrick Laine is unfortunately dealing with his own issues right now, but I don't have a doubt in my mind that he is still a great hockey player and when he gets everything sorted out, there are so many pieces on that team, or at least on in the forward core that I'm like, I like those pieces. Like I like Patrick Laine, like the player, the sniper, bit one dimensional for my liking, but whatever. On his day, the guy could be a 50 goal scorer, right? They have so many pieces up front where I'm like, they shouldn't be like a bottom five scoring team in the league. They should have some more offensive upside. So I don't know where they go from here, but getting rid of Pierre-Luc Dubois for me personally was a start.
So it's funny because in that draft, everyone just assumed they would take Puyarvi because
Yep.
Puyarvi being Finnish, Yarmo being Finnish, like oh, that's just what's gonna happen here. And then they didn't. They take Pierre-Luc Dubois. Everyone's like, wait, what? And yet, in reality, it turns out taking neither of them would have been the best move. That's just kind of funny, and all obviously in hindsight, right? So it's a lot easier to look back and say, "Oh, you would have made a mistake either way." But I mean, for me, Yarmo's best move was bringing in John Tortorella. I think that set the culture of the Columbus Blue Jackets for the next half decade. And they saw their best success as a franchise underneath him, right? Unfortunately, they couldn't carry that culture past Torts. It kind of just dissipated as soon as he left, right? But I do think that that tenure with Torts and Yarmo, is obviously the best in franchise history, and they're trying to recapture that to no effect so far. But yeah, that's what I got.
I
Well,
like
I
that
mean,
take.
he was such a great presence there that they've still haven't been able to find the guy to succeed him. They've
Yeah,
went
exactly.
through like 2 or 3 coaches already. I mean, granted, one of them didn't even get a game.
Yeah.
Um,
But doesn't it feel like they're trying to replace Torts with guys who just cannot be Torts, right? And they're
yes,
trying
yeah,
their hardest. They're trying their damnedest. They're healthy scratching David Juraj, and they're
yeah.
healthy scratching Johnny Gaudreau, and they're benching this guy and that
For
guy.
the
But
sake of the
it doesn't
culture,
hold.
yeah,
Yeah, and it
yeah, it
doesn't
doesn't
hold
hold
the
weight.
same effect because these players don't respect you the way that they respected John Tortorella, right?
Yeah,
It just
yep.
feels forced. So I almost think that they have to give up that culture entirely, and you got to make something new, right? So we'll see
I
what the Blue Jackets have in store. I have no
I,
idea.
I do have a couple of moves that Jarmo Kekalainen has made. Just gonna fire them out there, just to give you a taste of his 11-year history. That's
Are we
gotta
gonna
be
do
one of the longest
this?
tenures.
Are we
Yeah,
gonna do this?
we'll
I
do
like
thumbs
that,
up
Dave.
for
I
this
like
one.
that.
Clarkson to Toronto for Nathan Horton. This was a salary cap move. This was his
I'm
third ever
gonna,
move.
I'm gonna
Dude,
say,
like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't matter.
so
Like, it
come
had
see,
no
it's
effect whatsoever on either team.
well,
So,
I got rid of David Clarkson's massive contract out of here, so
I mean,
I guess it's a plus.
all that move was, like, very, very quickly, all that move was is Clarkson. The Blue Jackets had to pay David Clarkson's actually no, it was Nathan Horton's insurance money. So by trading Horton to Toronto, I think they just saved themselves like nearly $5 million. It had no
Good,
cap effect. It was
good
just a
for them.
random trade. Anyways,
Seth Jones for Ryan Johansson. This was a 1-for-1 trade that happened in 2016, I believe.
I mean, I think they won that, right? Like that was a
Yeah,
They
huge trade for them.
they
They won
win
that.
yes.
when you
Seth
hear what happens
Jones.
after.
Uh,
Well, they won the Seth Jones trade twice because I'm
Yes.
assuming
yeah,
yeah, right? Like they did.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Seth Jones
No,
was a great player on the Blue Jackets. It's just
Yeah.
everywhere else he was not. He was like he
Well,
hasn't
I
been good.
mean, but even when they got out of the Seth Jones experience at the right time,
Yes,
I
yes.
yeah.
think, right?
Buy
And
low, sell
especially
high.
if are you looking on Cap Friendly right now
No, I just have a
at the
list
trades?
on my
Okay,
notepad.
okay, because that Seth Jones trade to Chicago, right? They got Boakfist. I think it was like two firsts. One of those firsts, one became Cole Sillinger.
Eeh.
The the other one became David Yurchek.
So
So
they
that
replaced Seth
alone, right
Jones with one
there,
pick.
yeah. So they won the Seth Jones trade twice. Maybe, yeah, maybe that is Yarmo's best move, huh?
The next one I have is they brought in Matt Duchene for 2 first-round picks and 2 AHL players.
What
Yeah,
were
that
those
one,
first
on the other
rounders?
hand, well, they went to Ottawa.
Mm.
No one significance.
It wasn't like a top it wasn't like Jake Sanderson or one of those. I swear they got Jake
No.
Sanderson off of like a high.
They did, but
No,
not the
because
position.
that's the year that they beat Tampa, right? That's
Mm.
that year there. So
Yes.
I can
And
look it up in the meantime.
the last thing I have is Josh Anderson for Max Domi 1-for-1.
Max Domi was a great player in Columbus, man.
Yes.
I mean, I don't I that one's another one for me where I'm a bit like this. I'm gonna say Columbus probably gets the better deal of it because Josh Anderson's not the only thing Josh Anderson is good for is scoring twice against the Leafs every year. Like that's quite little. If that guy could only score 2 goals a year and both of them coming against the Leafs, one of them being like a game winner, and Habs fans would sing his praises. So
I'll sorry, go ahead, Dave.
no,
Finish.
yeah, no, like that's it. Like I don't know. Like if that guy was able to put together like consistent like 25, 30 goal years, like he'd be a force, but I don't
Yeah.
know. He looks
But
lost
I
out there
I
you know,
I
sometimes.
feel like I have to give the edge to Montreal just because they got a Stanley Cup final out of it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I guess.
So
But like I don't want to make Montreal fans feel better about themselves.
I'm looking
I,
at the Duchesne trade and I'm kind of confused because one of the picks became Lassie Thompson, who hasn't been anything, and the
Yeah.
other one says Igor Chinnikov, who's obviously on the Blue Jackets. So I don't know what happened there.
that's
Yeah,
odd. Yeah.
a
Huh.
little unsure. It might have been conditional and they never actually got it. I don't know. I don't know.
Another thing that um Actually, you know what? Let's just move on to the next topic. The PWHL has been a success story. I think they sold out the Scotiabank Arena, or they got really
Yep.
close with 19,000 seats, 19,000 plus being sold.
I think it was a sellout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys
So
watch?
it's an
Did you guys
NHL
go up with
arena,
you?
man. That night there, I believe I went home and took a 2-hour nap and woke up with about 10 minutes left in the third, which is around the time they scored their first goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
They
yeah, so
did.
Toronto, I'm talking about. So, yeah, Toronto ended up winning that game 3-0. I'm trying to remember who scored that second goal because no,
I think
first goal was Jesse
Spoons.
Comfer.
I think
Was it
Spooner did.
Spooner? It was whoever it is was number 34, and it was very eerie watching someone in a number 34
Number
jersey snipe one from the
for
top of the
Toronto.
circles in Scotiabank Arena. Yeah, I was like, huh, that looks
Crazy.
familiar. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, they fit in really nicely at Scotiabank Arena. So yeah, listen, I don't know if you can consider the PWHL so far anything but a success, like you said, and I think at least Toronto specific. The only question is if they play in Scotiabank Arena full time next season, because I think just that one game showed you the success that it could be.
So I don't know if it's going to be a Scotiabank full time. Uh, being a one-off game, you can get a complete sellout when you have as much anticipation for it as possible, especially being a game against the team from Montreal, right? I think personally what the PWHL Toronto should do is work on an agreement to play out of the uh Coca-Cola Coliseum. Granted, it's not as easy to get down to the Coca-Cola Coliseum as it is to the Mattamy Center and Scotiabank Arena. But if there is a clear want for the women's game in Toronto. I'm not too sure if they want to move them. Like it's tough to move a team from a thousand like 1,500 seat capacity arena right to a 20 almost 20,000 seat arena. I think that there should be a middle ground for a little bit. Maybe like if it's only 5 years, 10 years, let's say 5 years for the women playing at the Coca-Cola Coliseum. And then if you see consistent numbers there, I think it's easier to say, yeah, we could bring that game to the Scotiabank Arena. Or hell, even in 10 years, build them their own arena. Why can't we do that? Something like
Dave, I like that take.
10,000, 12,000 seats. Like, why can't we just do that? Um, I don't know. That's just my
This
take, honestly.
it's
I'm
definitely
I'm in
difficult.
agreement, honestly. Like you took the words out of my mouth in terms of I don't even know if my worry is about them like selling out at
I don't
Scotiabank
think
if they
so.
were to play a full season. That's not my worry. I think it's even more just like arena scheduling. Like there's probably just not time or space to fit PWHL
I,
Toronto into
yeah.
the Scotiabank Arena schedule.
Yeah, you have the
I think that's the
Raps,
biggest thing,
you have the
right? Yeah.
Leafs, you have
Yeah.
consistent concerts. Like, listen, concerts at the Scotiabank Arena are they are their money makers because there's so many of them. Every off day that there isn't like a Leaf or a Raptors game down there, especially during the summer, they charge like like I can't even tell you. Like if Drake comes to town, those tickets are a minimum to get into the arena are $500. So they make stupid amounts of money off their concerts and yeah, the scheduling like it happens during um the Leafs and the Raptors season as well. Like a lot of the Leaf games and PWHL Toronto games happen to land on the same days as each other. So it's a bit tough to manage that.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to think if there's like any other tenants than like the Marlies at Coca-Cola Coliseum. I know they do like
Uh
some concerts there too,
yeah,
but
I know
like
like
I
the
think they could probably fit it in.
like the 905 play at the Paramount Center, right?
Yeah,
They don't have another pro team, I don't think, in there, right?
I
Because the
don't think
Rock
so.
don't do the Rock play in there anymore? Or was that
I have
where
no idea.
Honestly, I thought they were Scotiabank. Like,
they
probably
were,
not
but
anymore. But
I don't think the
yeah,
Rock
maybe
played
you are right.
Scotiabank anymore. Or whatever
Maybe
they used to
they're
see at the time.
not. Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe they are at Coca-Cola too.
I
Don't
don't
know, but
know
I
actually.
think you nailed it. Happy medium is PWHL Toronto at Coca-Cola sometime soon. Yeah,
Let them get
Yeah.
that gradual change up, and we'll see where
You
it
know
goes from
what,
there.
guys? Just build them their own arena, man. Somebody do it.
One thing I just want to ask you guys is do you guys think that they should have like team branding starting next year? I mean,
Oh,
all
it's
the teams
not
are
like
basically
I think they
you
should. Yeah.
have to. You
yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
And I think they wanted to, and then they saw the fan outrage regarding the names because they weren't the best. So as long as they get it right, then that's part of
Yeah,
sports,
I
right?
mean, even the names, like, I don't
They were
know
just very
if,
bland. I just think they weren't connected at all to like city culture, city history.
yeah,
Like I think you can make them a lot
they could
more
have done a
unique
lot
and
better.
personalized. A lot. They were very generic.
Yeah,
Because
They were
that's the
generic.
thing for
And
me.
listen,
That's
that's a they are a creative group of people. Like everything that they do is genuinely creative. Like they have so many thoughts and ideas. Like just like the way that they set up their game, like with the point system and that type of stuff. So it's kind of beyond me that they kind of just went the generic route. Like I thought that they were really going to nail everything out of the park, but I guess it's tough to nail
For
like
this
to
year,
get
it
it.
was a logistics thing because they
Yeah.
started up later than they wanted to.
Mhm.
So the reason they went like just Toronto, Montreal, like just city names is because they were running out of time.
Yeah.
That's what it was. They wanted to get a season in, a full season in, and so they kind of had to go generic on the jersey front. But I
Well,
think for
that
next year, like it's not a
they
question they will have
they've
it.
also got to start thinking about other teams in there because there's an appetite. They removed teams from who are they playing? Like they have to get a couple more teams in the league
Yeah,
within the
yeah,
next couple of years too, right?
yeah.
Like they if they bring that league up to 10 over the next like 3 years, let's say, that's gonna be a really, really good watch.
I agree.
hmm. Okay. Let's move into the next topic. Stadium series. We were talking about jerseys and team branding. Let's just give quick grades to what we see with the stadium series. So I have the pictures here. Do you guys know them off the top of your head, or do you guys have them pulled
I
up?
do.
Yeah, I
I
do.
do. Yeah.
Okay. I think that we'll start with New Jersey. I'm gonna give this an A. I actually really like it, and I also really like what they did with the helmets too. So
I'm in agreement there. They grew on me. Like I definitely thought they were good when I first saw them, but seeing them on the ice, it
it's
only pumped that
gorgeous.
grade
Yeah, they
up.
made it
It's
a lot
really
nicer.
nice. It's really clean. You know what it is, Brian? It's Carolina's jerseys from last year's Stadium Series
Yes,
done a little bit better. That's what they are, and I
Yeah,
know you like
that's a good
that.
way to put
I
it.
remember that. Yeah, yeah. Dude, Jersey, everything about Jersey yesterday, A plus plus times infinity, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
They had the clean looking jerseys, came in the Fila velour tracksuits, had their whole thing was themed after like the Sopranos. Even though their girlfriends and wives gone in the fun. They were like mob wives on three, stuff like that. Uh, I was like, oh, dude, you guys nailed the hell out of that because there's not many times Jersey gets an outdoor game or an event for that matter of that
It's
spectacle.
true.
So good for them for nailing that, like just knocking out of the park.
There's something special with this Jersey team, and I don't know if you guys saw the Heischer interview after,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah,
you could tell
couldn't
the crowd
contain
is really into
himself,
it.
man. Yeah.
Anyway, Flyers. I'm looking at it right now, and I think I'm gonna give them a B.
Okay. So if Jersey for me is a hard A, Philly for me is still like an A minus. I still really like what they did. It looks better with the pants and helmet on because those are both black. And if you look at just the jersey, there's a little bit of a color imbalance. The orange numbers throw it out of whack a bit for me. So when you add in the pants and the helmet, everything looks a little bit more just right. So I was still a fan. I still think they're clean, but Jersey gets the edge for me still.
Yeah, those orange numbers are. But if those numbers were black, I think it'd be a lot nicer. But yeah, I think the jerseys are like a B to B plus. I'll be honest with you. I think the only I was about to say it, but I don't know if it's true. Never mind. Let's just keep going.
Rangers are giving them an A.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
yeah, I was about to say that the Devils were the only A jersey for me, and then I had another look at the Rangers one. I'm like, damn it,
It's
those
so
are also
nice.
A's as well.
I,
Those are
I
very
I'm
And
nice
yeah,
jerseys.
I'm gonna give them the same rating as the Jersey ones. And so with the Rangers, they were originally gonna go with red helmets, and I think they swapped last minute,
Good,
and that was the
thank
right
goodness.
decision. That
good
was the
that they
right
did.
decision.
Thank
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Okay, I
Best for
think we're all
last.
in
I mean,
agreement.
no. Yeah, no.
I think we're all in agreement
Yeah.
that we failed the
Yeah.
Islanders,
Dude,
but
I'll
okay.
suck.
So I'm giving them
So boring.
I'm giving them like a C. And I'll
No.
be honest with you, they
F.
could have been salvageable, like so easily salvageable. Take that jersey, get rid of your damn navy blue, go with your regular like Islanders royal blue, okay? And then have aisles and the numbers in white. It looks beautiful. That's it. That's all they had to do. And they didn't. It looks like the Oilers alternate jersey. Like
It
what the
doesn't
hell?
matter. It doesn't matter. That team gets an F for being no fun.
Oh,
Okay? F. F's all around. And you lost the game. And you lost a 3-goal lead yesterday. Okay?
Notice
F,
how the best jerseys won each game.
you're right.
interesting.
And
Yeah.
notice how the teams that had the most goddamn fun won both of the games. How about you have some fun, New York? Lou, I'm looking at you, Lou.
Apologies to every ear listening to this episode. No, I'm kidding.
Dude, Rangers came in with fire department, police department, like captains and stuff like that. Like, they made a whole thing about it. Beautiful. Jersey, they did their whole Tony Soprano thing. Dude, Philly came in looking like dressed like Rocky. And you know what the Islanders did? You guys know what the Islanders did? They dressed up in suits. The same thing that
Just
they
businessmen, Dave. They're
do.
businessmen.
They
Come
went
on.
they went real, business casual to MetLife Stadium to play on an ice surface for 60
Yeah.
minutes. How original, guys. Thank you. Take that L in OT and go back to the losers corner of the UBS arena. Okay? How about that?
The losers corner, LOU.
Yeah.
The losers
Yeah,
corner.
the losers
I'm
corner.
sorry, Lou. If
Whoa.
this gets back to Lou, I never said it. Scrub it from the internet, okay?
But what's up with all this?
This episode
Islanders
wouldn't come
hate?
out if it gets to
Yeah,
well, you know what the
exactly.
Islanders hate comes from? Because they're still transfixed on John Tavares after 6 years. Like, shut up, bro.
Yo,
Go fix your team.
honestly,
Okay?
I think for me,
Shut
I'm
up.
just more mad that they flubbed both reverse retros and this jersey. I think if they had come up with one nice jersey since then, I would have less hatred for them. I
And
really
they
would. I
dude.
really would.
They literally had the template with the fisherman
Yeah.
and they ruined the fisherman, dude.
Yeah. Okay. I
Come
want to
on.
really quickly talk about something that happened in the game. Did
Matthew
you
Rempe?
guys? Yeah. Did you guys see the clip? Did you guys like?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys
What a
know this guy's
spectacle.
measurements? Do you know what
Yes.
this fella is clocking in at?
Yeah.
Dave,
Yeah.
No
do you want to tell us? Do you want
Dude,
to? Do
the
you want to
guy
let
is
us know?
6'7", 240. I forget
And
if
he's
it's
like
242.
22.
I forget
Yeah.
if it's 242 or 245. But
He's
either
in the
or,
240s, man. That's like
yeah, that's a
you're
heavyweight
talking
tilt right
big
there.
game. Yeah, and he's 22, and it's his NHL debut, and he's lining up against Matt Martin, who he says he patrolled the warm-ups and they locked eyes and he knew it was going down, and he fights this guy 1 second into his NHL debut. That
There
is
was
phenomenal, incredible stuff.
so there was a graphic out on who was showing it? It was ESPN that was showing it, right? So it was like at the bottom, and it was like Matt Pemple NHL debut, and
Matt
it was
Rempe,
like
Matt Rempe.
Rempe. It was like time on ice 0001, so 1 second, 5 penalty minutes.
It's incredible stuff, man. Like that's legendary. And he was also the first player in NHL history to make his debut in an outdoor game. Really cool
Wow,
stuff for him.
that's actually crazy.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Did you
Yeah.
guys see his solo lap? It's the most beautiful solo lap I've ever seen. Just because, like,
It's outdoors, and it's like,
yeah,
he's got those
Yeah.
nice jerseys on too. Like, it adds to it too.
Yeah.
it was definitely a special moment. Really quickly, we have a bit of time before we go into our next break. Let's talk Bolts and their thirds or their alternates and their oddly weird shaped crest with these like the patch being on the center. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they just missed the mark.
I had to shoehorn this in here with our other jersey talk just because I wanted to talk about how not good these are. To be honest, the more I look at them, the less I like them. And maybe you're going to think this is just some Bolts hate from a Leafs fan, but it really isn't. They've had some very nice jerseys in their history, going back to their cup runs and even their stadium series. They actually had one, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. I want to say they played, was it Nashville? I don't remember who it was that they played.
Yeah, but it
Where
was
they had one
Smashville one.
Bolts.
They had
Okay.
the Nashville had
Yeah.
the Smashville ones, and theirs were like bolts going down, and it was kind
I
of like,
honestly love
yeah,
that.
those are nice jerseys.
It's honestly a really nice jersey, and this one is not it. So if you haven't seen, it's a black jersey, and then you've got their shoulder crest as the main logo on their chest, and then the striping on the sleeves. It goes white stripe, blue stripe, gray stripe. And the reasoning behind that is just because it's supposed to represent their 3 cups and the jerseys that they wore to win those 3 cups. I like that in theory, but I didn't know that was a gray stripe at the bottom until literally doing my research last night. Like you could not even tell. And I'll be honest, just from an aesthetic perspective, it doesn't do the job for me personally. And then the numbers, it's the drop shadow numbers. I don't know. Everything's just mixed up here. You're trying to go modern logo, modern sleeving, classic numbers. Everything's out of whack. I'm not happy
Yeah,
with these.
dude, they had the template with their 04 cup run jerseys. They had the template there, but they somehow just they threw the
They
darts
flubbed
at the
it.
wall. They threw the darts at the wall and it missed the dartboard completely. Like
Yeah.
I love their old logo, like the
Tampa Bay Lightning
2004 one.
squiggly with
Yeah,
it's a
that's one of my
very nice
favorite logos.
logo. They had their first reverse retro, the 1.0 was a beautiful, beautiful jersey. I would have just brought that back if I was them. It's fantastic. It's classic. It's unique. We don't need to have Tampa and Toronto looking like the exact same team every night. And now we both have a black
black
third jersey as
jerseys.
well.
But are theirs
Someone's
reversible?
gotta.
I don't think so.
May-
That's where we gotta be. That's where we gotta be.
maybe there's a branding conflict here that they're just trying to be someone that they're not, and it's always better to just start with your own thing than be someone else. But
You're
I,
right.
I
anyway,
talk more crap, but at the end of the day, they have 3 Stanley Cups
Yeah.
since turn of the century. We don't.
Just
So,
yeah.
they also have
uh,
probably the hottest player in the league right now. But we'll
Who
get into that
Austin
later.
Matthews
Actually,
doesn't play
yeah,
for them.
that might be you guys
it's
now
a
that Austin Matthews has
attaboy,
3
Dave.
hat tricks in
Attaboy.
the game. But
Clap back.
anyway, with that, we just want a quick break.
Sorry.
Okay, we're back from break. Let's move into our next topic. Juraj Slafkovsky. He has very impressed and has been he's impressed a lot, and I guess he's kind of living up to his expectations right now. I don't have the exact stats, but I'm sure Christian does. So
I've got him for you. So we've got 2 different stats here. He's obviously been on a heater, and that heater goes all the way back to December 15th. Since then, he's played 26 games. He's got 10 goals and 13 assists for 23 points. So near a point per game for Mr. Slav here. On the season, he's got 12 goals, 18 assists for 30 points in 50 games. Obviously, these are a far cry from what he was doing last year, where I think it was 10 points in 30 games. So huge increase for him. Obviously, he had that injury last year as well, ended the season in the AHL. Been in the NHL for most part this year, and he's doing good stuff. We got to give him his due, even as Leaf fans, got to give him his due. And I know that I had some talks with like some of our classmates, Dave, about like who's the comp for Juraj Slafkovsky. Now that we're kind of seeing him do his thing. And honestly, the one that came to mind for me is like Mikko Rantanen, big body dude who surprisingly hasn't been scoring as much as he's been labeled to. He's been more of a playmaker so far, you're right, with 18 assists and 12 goals.
Yeah.
So I think that's the type of comp that we're getting from Uri. And I think if you're a Habs fan, you can't be anything but ecstatic about that if he's even a fraction of Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah, if Uri ends up getting multiple like 30-goal seasons, that's fantastic for I don't know if fantastic. So here's the thing. I'm in a bit of 2 minds here because not like Uri I think he was drafted very young, like younger than other
You're
first
right.
overall picks. Still went back to school, still had had to mature quite a bit more to play in the league.
And when you say back to school, we literally mean like there was photos
he
of
went
him writing his grade 12 high school exam
yeah
in the middle of
yeah
the season. Like
last year.
that's
Yeah.
what we're talking about school. No, we're not talking about college to go.
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
no.
He went
We're
back to high
talking
school.
high school.
High school in Czechia that he went back to.
Yes. Yeah.
Like listen, I think the kid's great. But I think if I'm not gonna let's be honest with ourselves here. I think Habs fans are just trying to shove Juraj Slafkovsky down everybody's throat because they have their first overall pick doing something worth a damn, basically. And this isn't like I don't want to hate on Habs fans, but every team kind of has theirs. Like Jersey's got the Leafs have Austin Matthews. That should be the be all end all. McDavid, Jack Hughes, Rasmus Dahlin every now and then has some great moments. Nico Hischier, over the past, like, I don't know, 10 years, all the first overall picks have like their moments, and they have their teams talking about them. I just feel like this is
Lafreniere.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Sorry.
that's a tough look.
Sorry. Don't know what got
Um,
into it. No.
but I think the Habs fans just like they just wanna kind of shoehorn
They
him in
want
there.
in on the club.
They do want in on the club. I don't know if I'm willing to give them access just yet to that first overall. Like our we have a superstar of elite talent club
So
just yet.
so
What's
Dave,
up?
when Jack Hughes was drafted, we all know about his not the greatest rookie season,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we always talk about his mediocre sophomore season. So
Well, he had a
what would you
better sophomore season. Like
he did. He did. But Dave, what I will tell you is that Jack Hughes his second season, his sophomore season, Slafkovsky has already surpassed it in terms of production. And
it
if we
was
know
that
anything about
low.
how yeah, it was that low.
I think it was like
I
30
don't,
points, right? Yeah.
I don't remember. I thought he had like 45 in the second season. Huh.
No, it was like 30. Yeah, it was ridiculously low. And Slafkovsky's
Oh,
already surpassed it this season. If that is any tell to see the projection
yeah.
of a younger, more talented player getting drafted, Slafkovsky is going to be very good, especially given the fact that he's huge.
Yeah.
I
Um,
think
My
what
thing
Dave's
is,
trying to say is like, let's hold our horses a little bit here.
yes.
yes,
Like
Yeah.
50
but
games and 30
So
points doesn't get you into the club. Call me
but
back in a year. I
call
think
me
is what
call
I
me
Dave's
when
trying to
he's
say.
at 30 and
that's
80, basically, point a
where
game.
I'm going with this is I think he's going to explode.
Okay, which is
I
fair.
think that next year he might
He
have his
definitely could.
big breakout
He
season.
could be point per game next year.
Dude,
You know what
he
I think
could
is another good comp
he
for him?
could
Like I could see
explode.
like Svechnikov. He's
Yeah,
kind of that type
that's
of guy
fine.
too.
That's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, I think if you're a Habs fan, you're like, let's freaking go if we've got
yeah,
Svetch or right.
100%, 100%. I just think
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know if you guys have seen, but like there was a running joke. It was like anytime Slavkovsky like did anything, it was like here's a clip of Slavkovsky, going by two defensemen and making a pass for like a
You're right.
deflected shot or something. It was
I
just
do
like
remember seeing
it was
that.
like trying to shoehorn him in like let him develop and grow and let us see like his thing. The Leaf fans, after Austin Matthews like debut 4-goal game, we didn't have to say anything because everybody saw the talent. You know what I mean? Let us search out the talent, find the talent before we're like, man, that kid in Montreal is pretty good. And now I'm saying this, and I know the next time we play Montreal, the Leafs he's gonna have a hat trick on
We
us
play
just
them.
to
We
spite
still
me.
play him three more times.
Do
So
we
he's got
actually good?
100.
He's gonna have 9
Yeah.
goals in those games. He's gonna score a hat trick in each of those
So
3 games.
18-0 because Uri's gonna get a hat trick of hat tricks and Josh Anderson, right? You got to get his
Yeah,
quota in
yeah,
too,
he's
right?
getting
So
he's getting at least one per game too.
yeah,
So
yeah. I did look it up. Interestingly enough, Jack Hughes had 31 points in 56 games for his sophomore season. So Slav is a singular point behind with 6 games in hand to beat that mark.
And
I
it
do have
just
some other stuff as well. I'm sorry, Brian, you wanted to finish up on Slav?
yeah, I just wanted to say like this guy is like he has hands and if there's one play against the Caps. I don't know. I saw a highlight on it. I didn't watch the full game, but he just toe dragged it right past somebody. The cleanest toe drag I've seen in a long time. So if this guy can truly develop to be what he can be, the Habs are gonna have a very lethal player, which for better or for worse for some fans, right? But I don't know. Christian, what are the numbers you have?
Yeah. So in the theme of Juraj Slafkovsky, and really actually it's not that much in the theme because I kind of basically what we've got here are players who had not so great seasons or decent seasons last year that have already surpassed their totals from last year.
Okay.
So, and I tried to get players who played a full season from last year. So my first example here is Charlie Coyle. You would think like Coyle played for the Bruins last year, like the best regular season team of all time. He probably had really good stats. In 82 games, he had 45 points. Well, Charlie Coyle's played 55 games and he's got 45 points on the nose right now. So my guy's already surpassed last season's production.
granted, big
He's
difference
playing
in
more.
yeah, big difference in where he was 3C last year, I think
Now
behind
he's the
Yeah.
one.
Bergeron and Lucic. Or no, was it Krejci?
Yeah.
Now he's 1C. He's carrying that top line with like JVR and Pasta, like or Brad Marchand
So
and
there you go.
Pasta.
If you have
Like,
JVR on your first left wing, like you've got to, he's not doing the heavy work, right? Like you've got
yeah,
to carry
you're right.
some of the
You're right.
load. So I do think
It's all credit to
there's
Charlie
not,
Coyle.
yeah, I do think you have to give credit to him because I think there's a bunch of players you could put in that same spot who aren't doing that. Another Bruin, Trent Frederick, last year had a career season, 17 goals, 31 points in 79 games. He's got 31 points right now too in 55 games, so he's going to be beating that mark big time as well. JJ Peterka is a guy who does not get enough credit around the league. He's already surpassed his total. Last season, he had 32 points in 77 games. In 54, he's got 19 goals and 36 assists. He is an absolute sniper. I think he deserves a lot more credit in Buffalo, and he's part of the reason that Middlestat might become expendable for the Sabres. I know Dave is going to like this one because I'm pretty sure he's on his fantasy team. Mr. Blake Coleman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Big pick.
I
That was a
honestly didn't
huge
realize.
pickup for him, man.
Yes.
He's been
So
electric.
listen, I know that Dave's been telling me like Blake Coleman's been great. He's been like just a rock for my fantasy team. I didn't realize he's already beat his career high in points.
Hmm.
His previous career high was last year, 38 points in 82 games. He's already at 43 and 55. He's gonna blow it out of the water. I would have thought for sure that season where he was traded from the Devils to the Lightning was his career year, but it's not. So he's already tied, or he's one behind his career goal total or career high goal total for one season. So kudos to him. Mason Marchment, Leaf legend Mason Marchment,
Just picked him up today
46.
at fantasy as well.
There you go. Dave knows what he's looking for here. Last season, Marchment had 31 points in 68 games. He's got 46 and 54, which is 1 point off of his total from his last season with the Panthers. Remember when everyone was going insane about Marchment and being like, there's no way this dude is actually this good, right? Yeah, that season he had 47 points and 54. Mason Marchment is the real deal, and the Stars are the real deal. And that
Yeah.
just goes to Matt Duchene, who I've brought up a lot to Dave.
Man.
He's a point per game. He's over a point per game now. 55 points in 54 games for Matt Duchene on a 1-year, $3 million contract. Okay,
I
like that's
I thought after last season that was like after I saw Matt Duchene got bought out by the
yeah.
Preds, I was like, oh, that is the end of early like some of my early childhood like hockey memories came from like Matt Duchene. You know what I mean? Like he was just like a
Oh
perennial
yeah,
figure in those like early 2010s, late
Colorado days.
2000s. Man, how he has resurrected his career is pretty unbelievable.
I've
I
got three more for you here.
Go.
Sorry, Brian, you got something on Duchene?
Yeah, I was gonna say like adding Matt Duchene helps out the Stars in the sense that he just fills in a center role for them. He kind of picked his destination, and I'll
He
make the
did.
c- I'll make the um I'll make the take now. I think the Stars gonna win the cup. So
You
Fair.
stole my
I
take, Brian. You
Not a
stole it.
bad
Okay, no,
take.
I'm kidding.
It's a very
Yeah.
good
So,
take.
Brian, honestly though, like, yeah,
Yeah,
like you look at their depth.
man.
it's
If you look,
ridiculous.
I always because I always think about things in Leafs terms, unfortunately. So relative to the Leafs, our secondary scoring guys are like Bertuzzi and Domi and Robertson and Nyes and Yarncroke. Their secondary scoring is Tyler
Wyatt Johnson and
Sagan,
Jamie
Jamie
Benn.
Benn, Wyatt Johnston, Mason
Matt
Marchment, and
Duchene.
Matt Duchene. Like, are
No,
you
it's
kidding me?
murder's
You
row.
cannot even compare it because it's absurd. It's
Yeah,
absurd.
it's
And
ridiculous.
yeah, so
They just need a top four defenseman, and they should
And
be on their way to.
should be
they
good.
they should really be in on one of the Calgary defensemen. If they get either one,
It's done.
Does
it's
does
good
does
night.
that team not look like a Noah Hannafin? Like does Dallas not look like Noah Hannafin's
Yeah.
destination, man?
Well, Hanfin or like Tanev too, because
Him too. Yeah, sure.
they do have
But
two lefty shots already. Like I'm pretty sure Harley's a lefty as well, and
yeah,
so Miro's a lefty. So they don't
need
need
another.
another lefty, but like Hannafin's not hurting any team.
All right,
So
it's Rasmus Anderson then. Good
yeah,
luck.
right.
Have
Jeez,
fun,
please
everybody in
no.
the West.
Yeah. So Michael Matheson last year, back to Montreal here. I think
Boo.
he
He's
had a
so
very
good.
underrated season. He was so good. He was this good. 34 points in 48 games. Okay? That's pretty damn good. He's already in 7 more games. So last year 48, this year 55. He's got 7 more points. 41 points in 55 games. He honestly might get close to Morgan Riley's career season with the Leafs. That's that. Once again, in Leafs terms, that's pretty good. That's a very good season. So I think, he's been once again somehow even more under the radar than last year. And I don't think people should be looking for Montreal to be trading him anytime soon. I think Ken Hughes is smart in that. They're keeping that guy.
Someone tell Ken Hughes to sign it to like 10x10. Like 10x8 or something like that.
Yeah, I wish, but that's the thing. He's making 4 something schmil for 3 years.
Yeah,
damn it.
No.
They can't even sign him to an overpay contract. Damn it.
God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Last 2 here, Quinton Byfield nearly doubling his production from last year. He had 22 points in 53 games last season. This year he's already up to 40 and 51. So he has arrived. Quinton Byfield has arrived on the scene. And in the spirit of playing the St. Louis Blues today, at least the Maple Leafs are playing the Blues, Jake Neighbors.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with Jake Neighbors' game?
Yeah.
Because my guy has gone from 6 goals in 43 games to 19 and 54.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good sophomore season for this guy here. 26 points in 54 games.
Just wanted to make one note before we move off of this.
Yeah.
I met 3 players, but 2 of them are currently in the NHL this past summer. Quinton Byfield, Morgan Riley. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm not even gonna say anything.
Are you saying that you're the reason, Dave?
I'm not saying nothing.
Turned
No.
Quinton Byfield's season around?
I didn't say
his
nothing.
career around?
I'm just saying, like, those are the 2 players I met in the offseason. I'm gonna leave it there.
That's it.
Well, the third. Well, we know that that's not. There's no correlation because the third one didn't pan out, but that's okay.
Well, okay, listen, man. I'm not a miracle worker here either.
Dave's holding that one in his back pocket to see what happens. His story's not over yet, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of players that have surpassed their previous point totals last year, we got Anthony Mantha, who last year had 27 points. This year, in I think maybe 17 less games, has 28.
Wow. How could I forget Anthony Mantha, Brian? Thank you for adding this to the list.
He's going for a first rounder, Brian. I hope you heard that. That was the alleged. That's what Friedman was saying. He was going for a first rounder.
That's actually Nick Dow that will be going for a first, but I will gladly take anything for Anthony Mantha.
First for anybody. I've got very quick Jagr trivia for you guys in the spirit of his number being retired. Okay, so I've got a Sporkle up here. It's got a 2-minute timer. Can we name I think it's 9 or 10 teams. I haven't looked it up on purpose to not refresh my memory. Just Jagr's teams in order that he played for them. So it has to be in order. Okay.
I know the first 2.
So it's Penguins.
Okay. So let me grab it here and let me get Penguins. Okay. We've got one right. Where do you go after the Penguins? Yeah.
Where do you go second?
Washington.
So
I think after that,
I think it was the Rags after, or was it Dallas?
I think you're right.
No, I think you're right. He went to the division. Yeah, he went through the whole division. So it's like Pittsburgh,
let me grab
Washington,
Rangers here.
New York, Devils, Flyers.
So wait, so he was with the Rangers, went to the KHL. You're saying the first team he signed with after coming back was
the
Devils? Or I thought maybe it was the Flyers. I don't know if it was the Devils or Flyers first.
Wait. Oh, okay.
You see, here's the problem now.
I think he went to the. Did he go to the Flyers?
I do think it was the Flyers. I feel like it's Flyers.
Because then it has to be the Flyers because it was the Giroux year. It has to be the Flyers. Yeah.
Okay, I'm locking it in because if we get it wrong, we lose. Okay.
He was on the team when Giroux was on the cover of NHL, right?
I locked it in.
Yeah.
We were right. Okay, so it was Flyers.
So it's Flyers.
Okay.
So
we're going Devils after Flyers. We're at 4 out of 10.
Okay, so then it's the Devils.
Okay.
Is it right?
We got to run.
No.
Got it wrong.
My bad.
Would he go to the Panthers next?
I'd have to. Man, this doesn't even tell me the right one. Let's see if I can just throw them in really quickly
up
here.
And then
Penguin. Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't give me the actual answers when I gave up. Penguins, Caps, Rangers.
Went to the KHL.
Flyers. So if it wasn't Flyers, where do you go after Flyers before the Devils? Was it Boston?
Oh, he was on that. He was on the finals team, the one that lost to Chicago in 2013.
Okay, so Boston. I got it wrong too. Okay, give me a blank.
Wait,
we suck.
Oh, Dallas! I knew he went to Dallas.
Did he play on Dallas in the jerseys that they currently wear, or is it before that?
Was
he in the ugly jerseys?
It was the ugly jerseys. It was like the green, black.
The Dallas. The Star.
The Brendan Morrow captain.
That's the
Yeah.
best way to explain it, dude.
Yeah.
That is the best way to explain it. I
But
feel like I don't remember anything about Yar.
Was he not on the Bruins for the 20? I want to say
He was definitely like on the Bruins for something.
he
Was it
was on the team
Jagr
that
and Caberlet?
no, not Cabernet, but he
No.
was on Jagr was on the team when they did the 4-1. 100% he was on that team.
Interesting.
Damn it.
100% he was on that team. Like I
Yes.
could remember the mullet on the bench, like jumping
Brian,
out of his seat when
do you
Bergeron
have
scored.
all the team order? You want to
I
just run this
do.
down? Okay. So
Pittsburgh,
from
Washington,
yeah, okay.
Rangers, Flyers, Stars, Bruins, Devils, Panthers, Flames.
Okay.
I have
So 8 teams?
Did I
Yeah, okay.
miscount?
Maybe that's maybe that's all it was. I don't know. The Sporkle thing said 10, but we never got through all 10, so I don't know.
Unless they're also counting like well, they can't count KHL because like
Maybe.
but we just went through the NHL ones. Unless it's like
Yeah.
KHL at the end. I don't know.
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't be able to tell
like
you
I
where he
said,
went after.
we
Like
were
where
we
the
weren't good enough
Czech
to
team.
get to that point.
I wouldn't be able to tell you the Czech team that he went to after.
Kladno. That one
Oh,
we
that's
should
right.
know.
You're right.
I couldn't tell you his KHL team though. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Zenit
The
or fucking
No,
not Zenit. CSKA Moscow. I think that's where he went.
yeah, no idea on my part.
it's okay, yeah.
CSKA
Anyway,
Moscow.
big congratulations to Jagr for getting his number retired. We absolutely. I think I'm a big fan of what they did with the mullets and everybody wearing the.
Letting him go for warm up was really
Yeah.
cool too.
Yes.
That was really
Man, they
cool.
should just put him in the game.
Honestly, dude, if they had said, "Hey, we signed Jagr to a 1-day contract, but he's actually just playing the game," I would be like, "I'm not surprised. Like, do it."
I actually okay. I have a quick aside here related to jersey number retirements before we get to Caps Corner. So I was doing some research for an assignment yesterday, and I found out. Did you know that Toronto Maple Leafs are the first franchise in professional sports history to retire a number? That's pretty
Was
cool. The Maple Leafs invented number retirements.
it
Who was
Ace
it?
Bailey?
I think you're right. I can't remember. I should know because I did the research and I already forgot who it was for. But
he was why they created the NHL All-Star game. Ace Bailey.
Yes.
True story.
Leafs versus the rest of the NHL.
The All-Star,
like
the NHL All-Stars.
Yeah, it was like a charity game.
Yeah.
In his honor. But yeah, I thought that was really cool that Leafs invented number retirements because we see those everywhere now, and it's pretty cool that we did that.
You know what the Leafs also invented, Christian? Player tributes for third line wingers.
Oh god damn it! We invented the Pierre Engvall tribute.
The Pierre Engvall tribute. Yeah, that's what we did.
Brian, do you have anything Caps for us here?
Oh, I do actually.
You did some scouting at the Marlies game. You have anything there?
Yeah.
I have scouting from another very important game, rivalry game. University of Massachusetts, Boston College. Boston College is down 4-3 with 10 minutes left in the third. Who else pots in 2 extra goals to top off his hat trick to make it 5-4 for BC, the number 1 D1 ranked NCAA college hockey team? No, anyone want to guess who did it?
Is it the return of the Mac?
It's no. Oh, you're saying Macklin Celebrini?
Yeah, is he not?
It was not Macklin.
For Brian to bring it up has to be Caps related. So it's return of the Len. Return of the Len.
Oh,
yeah,
Ryan
Leonard. Ryan Leonard.
This guy is special. He only leads Celebrini. Sorry, he only is behind Celebrini in freshman goals in the NCAA.
That's crazy.
This is probably the best college team like ever. They are on fire. Yeah.
Brian, I'm trying to remember your reaction when they drafted Ryan Leonard. If you're like kind of up, down, or just kind of whatever on him. Like, were you high on him? I forget.
I was high on him, but I preferred Smith out of the 3, like the Perot, Smith, Leonard, and I think that Leonard might be the best of the 3.
Look at that.
Leonard. I don't know if you guys like watch him play or like seen any celebrations, but like he's one of the biggest. He's a big celebrator.
You know that I'm
yeah.
You know that I'm big on that. You know that I want guys that have good sellies on my team.
But, just sally hard every time you get a goal. Like that's it.
It's not about having some flashy thing. It's just your face has to look like you just got stabbed in the abdomen. Okay,
If you look
the type of
if you sell it and you look like a bruised eggplant after, or like just an
That's it.
eggplant, that's
You're
it.
right, bro.
That's what I want.
You're right,
A
man. Yeah.
hothouse tomato.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this guy, like, he is a big game performer. Obviously, UMass, Boston College, big rivalry. Uh, Also, I don't know if you guys remember, but he got the game-winning goal against, or the dagger against Sweden, in the, I think it was the U18s, U18 World Championships. Anyway, when every time he scores one of these big goals, he waves the crowd goodbye or he screams, puts his arms up. This guy's special.
That's tough. I like that.
Is there any chance? Like this is a very early question, but like, do you think he could be on the big team next year? Do you think, or do you think
No,
he's
Maybe one more
committed
year.
to another year of school? Yeah,
no, I think that I think he'll take the extra year, and we'll see what he does. Well, depends if they win the Natty. If they win the national
that's what I
championship,
was gonna ask you. Yeah, if
yeah,
he wins, does
because
that change his decision?
I think they could do it, and if they do it, I think that I'd be okay with him staying another year just to develop, just because we've seen so much success with guys that have spent 2 years in college. I do want to see him get called up just because we need a little bit of firepower, and it would be nice to see. It would be
Do
nice to
you
see Leonard in the big league.
do you
Yeah,
think maybe at the end of this season we get like a 5 game trial run of Ryan Leonard in the big show?
it depends how far Boston College goes in the
Well, I think the finals normally wrap up a couple weeks before the NHL season wraps up, so that would give them like maybe a couple of games to play.
we might be fighting for our playoff lives, or
Okay.
if we're completely blown out of the
Well,
water. I don't
well,
know,
if you
but
are
Even
if
then,
you
though,
are fighting for your playoff lives, does that not give you more incentive to maybe give him a look?
depends on
I,
the
I think
situation. I
Brian
can't answer
thinks
that
he's
question
not
right
even
now.
gonna play next season, though, right? Because yeah, you're
Yeah,
saying you want him to play a full year, and I think Dave, honestly, I think that's the right choice because we've seen it play out for us with Matthew Nyes.
Yeah, no,
We were
100%.
clamoring for Nyes. Forget about last season.
The
The
season
season
before.
before,
Yeah.
right? We wanted to see him, and honestly, the more I think back on it, that would have screwed his development up big
Oh
time.
yeah.
Because it's not
Oh
like
yeah,
he's
for
he's
sure.
not burning like the league on fire right now. He's fitting in, but he's still finding his way.
He's
As
he's going
currently,
through he's going through his
yeah,
sophomore slump as a rookie, I think.
it's not. Yeah, it's just this the growing pains of playing a season that's more than like 40 games.
Yeah.
Right? He's never
Yep.
played a season this long, so you're probably right, Brian, to say that he should get another full year because, like I said, for Nyes, I can't imagine what he would have looked like in a full season last year with the Leafs. So it'd been even tougher on him. So it's probably the right move.
Leonard might be like the guy that we see in this draft. Like, how if you look back at the 2016 draft, you look back at Chuck and you're like, man, this guy probably should have went like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Leonard might
yeah,
be
So
that guy in this year's
you're
draft.
saying in the redraft he's going to like top 3 for sure, like a lottery pick. Or
Potentially,
it could be. Yeah.
just looking at how he's a big game player, looking at his size, looking at the way he plays, looking at how he just shows up every single night. Like the
so
comparison with was Kachuk, I could see
yeah,
something a little special in the future, like a little bit more than
so
Kachuk in the future.
we obviously can say he's not better than Bedard. So that's
No,
he's first.
yeah,
But I do think it's safe to say Mitch Cobb still take over Leonard
for now,
for
yeah.
now. But I think you can definitely say you're saying based on what you've seen, you put him into that tier with Carlson and Fantilli.
I think that's safe to say for all three of
Okay.
like for Leonard, Smith, and Perot, for all three of
Okay.
them.
Dude, if he if
Okay.
he if he cracks that, let's say in 10 years from now, we look back 10 years from this past draft, and it's Bedard, Fantilli, and then Ryan Leonard as your third thing. That's
I wouldn't be
that's something
surprised.
special, man. It could be. Like we don't know. Like there was so much talent in this draft where you could have your list of the top 5, and besides Bedard, it could be changing. It was changing throughout the season, right? Like we don't even fully know. Like it's only been half a season for all of these guys. Some of them, like Ryan Leonard, haven't even touched at like the NHL yet. So that's something 10 years down the line where where maybe we're looking back and we're like, there was a lot of talent in this draft, but maybe some of that talent, like, I don't know, like it could have been, I don't know, it could be. I don't know. We'll see.
Little bit of
Lots of
Boston.
hidden gems. I mean, you know who's a player who would go get redrafted really high in last year's draft as well? Mr. Easton Cowan, okay,
Yeah.
of the Toronto
Yeah.
Maple Leafs. I don't know how many tabs you've been keeping on him, Brian, but he's actually on, I think, approaching a 30-game point streak right now.
For London.
He has set a London Knights franchise record for a point streak. And he is second in the entire CHL in points per game. So he's doing some really, really great stuff for the London Knights and indirectly the Leafs.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're calling him like the biggest pest in the O. Like
He fights. He
is nasty, that guy.
Yeah. So
in more ways than one. Yeah.
Yeah. I went from not knowing a thing about this guy when he was drafted because I didn't do my draft research. Yeah, like obviously every Leafs fan is just salivating over Easton Cowan. Another aside here, but related. I think it was on 32 Thoughts, either 32 Thoughts or Jeff from Eric's show, that Friedman threw in a tidbit about when Ridley Greig was drafted or leading up to his draft, a scout or maybe one of the like management for whatever junior team he played on went to the Leafs because that guy was like a Leafs fan. And basically said, you need to draft this guy because he's going to be Nazem Kadri for you. About Ridley Greig, they said this. Yeah, that hurts. Ow.
Wow.
Oof. Ouch.
Ow.
I think now Leaf fans are like, oh, we never wanted him to begin with. Get this. Yeah, like.
No, we did.
But I thought that was that was really interesting to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, we would have. I would have liked it.
Okay. I'll give my thoughts here on Saturday night.
Go.
I basically, with like second period, at this point it was like you said, like 7-1 maybe, like with under 10 minutes to go. I was thinking to myself, like, where does this rank in terms of games that I've attended? And it's on the podium, I think. It's actually number one. I think,
you got your money's worth.
Oh my god, I got my money's worth. It took half a period to get my money's worth. I think it's by far the best regular season game at Scotiabank Arena that I've attended. So I'm still putting the only playoff game I've been to at number one, which was in 2022. That was first time around against Tampa, Game 5. This is our comeback victory where Matthews and Marner scored late. I think actually Stamkos might have tied it. I can't remember if this is a 4-3 game or a 5-4 game. This is where Matthews and Marner have that 2-on-1. I think Marner gives the slap pass off the pad, or maybe Matthews off of Vasily's pad. Yeah, that was a really good game. Only playoff game I've been to. Everyone was screaming loud as hell. Loudest game I've been to. Number 2 would be Centennial Classic. It's a classic. But this is number 3. not 8-1. 9-2 pounding of the Anaheim Ducks on home ice. It had everything. It had goals, obviously. It had fights. It had the wave. The crowd was doing the wave, which is always good in a Leaf game. You see that at every game at Rogers Center for the Jays. For the Leafs, it's a little bit more rare. Radko Gudas was getting it all night. It was insane inside the arena. Just every time they showed his face on a Jumbotron, you'd be going insane. So yeah, that was a phenomenal game to have gone to. And I guess life was fine without Morgan Riley. Hey, Dave? I think it's all right. I think we can just forget that he exists.
Hey, Ben, did you see the stat? It was like they're 17-2-1 with Morgan Riley not in the lineup since I think it's the past 2 seasons before this. Listen, it's not to do with Morgan Riley, but it is also, it's worth noting because the team looks like they just come together a lot more when they're missing a guy. When they're missing any of the guys, they just seem to come together a little bit more. They dig a little bit deeper. So maybe if that's what it takes to I don't know, do something. Listen.
So it's funny though, Dave, because we're saying it's been 3 games since Morgan Riley and they show up without one of their guys, which is true. But I think the way I'm looking at it is not only has it been 3 games without Morgan Riley, it's been 3 games since Ridley Greig did the thing. And we talked about this throughout the week as well. If this could be a galvanizing moment for the team, I actually thought no. I thought this wouldn't change them materially. Maybe it has. Maybe it was that moment. Maybe that is the turning point of the season.
Maybe.
I mean,
we'll see.
Maybe. It's 3 games in. I know.
So we'll have to see.
And it's against St. Louis, Philly, and Anaheim. But
yeah, That's another thing too. So Austin Matthews back-to-back hat tricks. Let's
I
run
was
through.
bearing the lead hard there. Holy crap.
We're gonna run through some Austin Matthews stats just to glaze him a little bit more. Most multi-goal games franchise history. Austin Matthews 72, passing Daryl Sittler with 71. Uh, most recent
Absurd.
players with 5 hat tricks in a season. Austin Matthews has 5. Do you guys
He has
know
6.
who? Now he has 6. Sorry, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
He has 6 now. Do you know who the last player to have at least 5 in a season was?
I know the last to have 5, and I don't know the last to have 6. So I
Okay,
do know
well,
5. Do you know 5, Brian?
I do have both of them for you actually.
Good. Okay. Do you know
Wait, what was the
the
question?
last player to score 5 hat tricks in a single season?
I know the answer. Dave, you told me this on the subway yesterday.
I did. I
Which
ruined
one
that
did you tell him, both or one?
No, I just told him one.
Okay, so I only know the 5, and that's Chichu.
Yes.
Okay,
So
that's what I
Jonathan
knew.
Chichu,
So what's the
0506.
so who's the last to have 6?
10 years before Jonathan Chichu, Mario Lemieux had 6.
I
So
guess it's kinda
Gretzky, if we're gonna go down the list from number 1, it's Gretzky, 10 in a season. That is the all-time record.
Twice.
Gretzky did it twice. Mike Bossy had 8, Lemieux had 7, Matthews has 6. There's another player in there. I don't have the stat in front of me. I saw it very quickly and I forgot to pull it up, but there might be another player in that upper half, but then it's Matthews 6, Gretzky 6, Lemieux twice with 6. Like, unbelievable.
So, he can threaten second. I think he could 2 more hat tricks to tie for second.
Yeah.
We've got 30 games left-ish. 20 right?
Most goals per game
Unbelievable.
in NHL history. Mike Bossy 0.76, Mary Lemieux 0.75, Austin Matthews 0.64.
That's kind of nuts to say he has a higher goals per game average than Alex Ovechkin and Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah,
that's what you just said there.
And
that's crazy.
Both of those 2 names are just under Austin Matthews. Again, cherry pick stats.
So
we're waiting to see the full 20-year career, right? Like we still
I do wonder what those stats look like if you cut it off to like where Matthews is in his career, because that's those guys' full career averages. So I wonder where each of those players are at, however many games Matthews is into his career right now. That's what I'm assuming Gretzky jumps up to number 1, whatever, yada yada. But that's something I wonder.
I will say this: I don't believe that he's at this pace. Like, it's insane at this point of his career. We would say that Ovechkin was like that Ovechkin's pace was like once in a lifetime.
Twice in a lifetime, baby. Let's go.
I think Matthews might be at a higher pace right now. Like, just off the top of my head.
He is, I think, like I said, on a career basis, he is at a higher pace. On this point in their career basis, I don't know. But even to be in the conversation, which I'm sure he is incredible. Obviously, part of the mystique of Alex Ovechkin is the longevity. It's the ability to not get injured. With Matthews struggled with a little bit more than Ovechkin, less so lately, but that's part of it. And so for any player to do it over the career that Ovechkin has, that's what makes it so tough. So yeah, we definitely can't jump ahead of ourselves, and especially as Leaf fans, we are the type to, you're going to hear people throw that type of stuff out, but if you're an informed Leaf fan, you know not to curse stuff. And
before we end up, I just wanted to ask you guys this.
I do have one more quick stat.
Okay, go.
So Bobby McMahon and Austin Matthews gave the Leafs 3 straight games with a hat trick, right? The last team to do that, 09, 010, Washington Capitals, Brooks Lake, Alexander Salmon, Alex Ovechkin. That's it.
Yeah. Brooks Lake. Wow.
I like the way that went. Dave, over or under 69.5 goals.
Oh, dude, he's hitting 80.
Slam
80.
it, baby.
He's hitting 80. He's going for 80. He's going for 80. We'll see. I think 70. I think 71.
He's on pace for, I think, 74 or 75 right now.
My guess right now, put it on tape right now, look into the camera, 71.
Boom.
I like that.
Boom. Clip it. I had some trade stuff. We'll kick that to next episode. I swear to God, if they trade for one of these guys now during the week, I'm going to be a little bit better.
Oh, they're doing it today. I hope you know that.
Yeah. Cheers.
Shout out to Fubo, shout out to Razor. If you want to get your Juraj Slafkovsky jersey, NHLshop.ca.
Ew. Why him? Why not Austin Matthews?
Bobby
Just
McMahon
garbage.
jersey. Bobby
Yeah.
McRocket.
Bobby McManus. All right.